And hello, everyone. We are speaking to Hannah Fraser, a real live mermaid, and I'm super excited to have her on the She Africa Hangout. Hannah, hello.
Hi, it's such a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you for inviting me on.
Yeah, you're gorgeous, and I'm in complete awe of the work you do, and just being a being that's active on planet Earth and a woman. Is a bonus, and a mermaid. I mean, every little girl dreams about becoming a mermaid, and here you are.
It's true. Everyone I talk to is like, oh, I always wanted to be a mermaid too. And it's like, wow, it's this universal connection to the sacred divine in the ocean, which is really what inspired me as a child. It's this feeling of complete freedom, complete weightlessness, and deep connectivity to everything around you, because when you're in the water, you feel the currents, you're literally physically connected. So I think that we're all kind of like trying to find our way back to the womb in some way. And so it is a deeply feminine, deeply connected, very nature-centric experience for me.
Yeah. Well, as far as way out goes, and I think aligned with your purpose, like everybody, well, I've been asking, like, what is my life purpose? And I think as far as that's concerned for you, you are living it.
It's true. It's taken some time. And, I started off as a graphic artist. So I was like, that's my purpose. And then I got into photography and I was like, that's my purpose. And then I got into performing, dance, modeling. I was like, that's my purpose. And, I tell people, you don't have to find one thing. It's the joy that you wake up with, that you give through the medium that you choose in that day. That is your purpose. So I have a lot of people who always ask me, like, I don't know what my purpose is. I'm like, show up with light and joy and give and be of service. That's all we can ever do. And it doesn't matter how you do it, but show up for that.
That's amazing. That's beautiful. Show up with light. Yeah, I love that. Like I've been wanting to get out onto the streets and do active street art. And then I saw your clip and I was like, Petro, you really need to do it. You're such an inspiration to anybody who wants to be out there, who wants to be a spokesperson for animals, on any level really. But conservation and sustainability, and just to preserve, what we have, our beautiful, beautiful gift of having animals on this planet and alive, for future generations.
Exactly. I always think it's so funny that we're all so obsessed with, like, oh my God, are there aliens out there? And like, oh, we found a residue of a spot of water on Mars. And it's like, we have the most biodiverse, incredible, mind-blowing animals and experience on this planet, still finding new animals every day. We are finding aliens. Just recently, I saw a little piece about squids, and the DNA that they have is so far removed from anything that they've been able to map before, that if they didn't know better, they'd say they were aliens. It's just, we are so incredibly lucky to be on this planet, and in such a dire moment in this time in history. So literally, we've wiped out 90% of the large fish in the ocean in the last 50 years. We have about 20 years, they say, before, if we continue at this rate, all fish are gone, which means life on the planet is gone. So there's a call to action. There's something that must be done right now. It's not that we have the leisure anymore. So it's about finding a fun way and a joyful, I call it joyful activism, so that we can enjoy our lives and yet be being of service.
Yeah. And ultimately, I find people like you, people that are living their purpose through activism, those are the ones changing this planet and changing the people, changing themselves, and then going out and shining the light and then changing people that they come across, Tell me a little bit about your childhood.
Yes, I was obsessed by mermaids as a child, as most little girls were, but I would draw them incessantly. I've made little sculptures in the garden of mermaids, and it was just this thing. And I used to go to the library before internet. It shows my age. And I would look up, where can I find mermaids? Where do I go? And I was so confused that no one could tell me where I could actually go and see one. And so around age 9, I saw the film Splash with Hannah. And I was like, oh, her name's Hannah too. It must be a sign. She's a vegetarian like me. I'm going to be a mermaid. So I created my first mermaid tail, and it was made out of plastic orange tablecloth material. I painstakingly painted little gold scales all over it, and it was filled with pillow stuffing in the end. So it was very non-functional as a tail. I don't know if my mom actually believed I was going to swim in it, but that was the first thing. I was like, I'm getting in the pool. And so this thing was basically like tying my legs together with pillow stuffing. And it taught me sink or swim. You know, it was a really great way to learn how to be a great swimmer or die. So it was a great experience. And then I got into art, as I said, and I was started to get into a little bit of modeling. And at one point in my 20s, I got asked to go to a costume for an underwater shoot. And I was like, oh, I love being underwater. I'm pretty good at holding my breath. You know, this could be really cool. And I got there, and there were all these gorgeous supermodels everywhere. And I thought, there's no way that I'm getting this job. Got underwater, and not a single one of them could hold their breath for more than 5-10 seconds. And they all looked like blowfish dying underwater. Yeah. So I got the job. And when I got those pictures back, they were so beautiful. And I tell you now, they even match up to the photos that I'm creating now, like 15 years later. It was complete freedom, complete surrender to that environment. And it was all of the images that I've been painting my whole life. I suddenly realized, oh, it's me, and I can be my art. So there was this wonderful moment of complete expression for who I am. And at that moment, I was like, oh, you know, I made a tail when I was a kid. Maybe I could do that again as a fun little hobby. So I spent a lot of time researching, developing, and creating this tail. Made my own monofin by putting flippers onto polyethylene boards and silicone, and got really into it. Made my tails and got better and better. And 13 years later, here I am, professional mermaid, and created a whole vocation, because before this, no one was doing it as a freelance profession. Now there's hundreds of people around the world. There's mermaid schools. There's a mermaid renaissance experience. So yeah, it's been a really great adventure.
Oh, that's amazing. I have a friend, and we call her the mermaid. She loves the ocean. She's such a beautiful being. Jennifer, if you ever watch this, I just love you. But, I actually wanted her to do this interview with you, but there was such short notice, and I'd gone to India, so I didn't really have time to arrange that. But I would love for the two of you to meet at one point. Hannah, I believe anything's possible. If we can think it, we can create it, we can be it on planet Earth. Yes. So, and a lot of people have told me a lot of things aren't possible, but looking at what the human species has accomplished, and about what certain individuals have created on planet Earth, anything is possible. And you've created that. You've sort of like pushed yourself beyond the limits. And my other computer's died, because I actually wanted to quote you on a few things that you've said in your TED Talk, but I'm going to have to rely on this now. So did you get a lot of support when you went in on this? Did you get a lot of support from your parents, from your family, from friends?
I was very lucky. My mother was very creative. So any artistic project that I wanted to do, she was like, sure, I'll help you with that. And, was very supportive. She told me fairy stories when I was a kid, so I look at her and think, wow, I don't know if I'd be where I am if it wasn't for this amazing creative woman. Very lucky. My dad, they broke up when I was quite young, so I didn't grow up with him, but he's a musician, and he always just went for it. Whatever his dream was, single pointed, 100% focus. So I feel like I got that determination and focus and hard work, just complete dedication from him. So I was very lucky in that sense. Of course, with my mom, there was like, okay, well, you like drawing fairy pictures, you should, do graphic design at school so that you make a living. There was some, I was like, did that for a year. Actually, I hate that. I'm going to go and draw fairy pictures in Byron Bay and sell them at the market instead. She was like, okay. Yeah. But she's always been very supportive. And, my friends, I choose people who are all in the creative arts, because, they get who I am, and I enjoy being around people that are pretty out there and just follow their creative dreams. It is interesting if I'm in a business setting, and people are all like, I'm an investment banker, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm a mermaid. And you see their face kind of glaze over, and it can be a little bit dismissive, but all I need to do is pull out the phone and say, oh, here's me swimming with a tiger shark, and they kind of, okay, now questions for you. So, it's the dedication of having taken it from, oh yeah, like a chintzy mermaid tail by the pool with a couple of kids' parties to swimming with great white sharks in a mermaid tail in the open ocean with some of the most incredible cinematographers in the world. So yeah, it's like I validated my own life. I don't need anyone else to validate it for me. I've created it.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. And for anyone who watches or is going to watch the videos, none of that's been edited. All of it, as I understand, is original. It's authentic, nothing. There's no special effects to it. This girl is in the water with the sharks. And I have such a big fear of sharks. It's unreal. And I see you swimming, and I just watched 2 videos before I started talking to you. And my mouth literally fell open, and I was like, fearless. This girl is fearless. She's fierce and she's fearless, and she's in the freaking water swimming with these sharks. I swear, like I always like joke, like if I see something like a snake or a reptile or a shark, then I'll just faint. Like that's my. I'll be like, that's just me. Like I'll just faint in water. Like play.
It's probably not the safest. Yeah, I don't know if we want to.
That's you. And these creatures are amazing. They're beautiful. They're earthlings. They are a part of our world. They make up the ecosystem, and without
into their own ecosystem, they're in balance. So we have so much to learn from the animals, because we are pretty much the only species that are completely out of balance.
Yeah,
we think it's great, and we're creative and we're weird, and wonderful, but wow, we have to learn how to be in symbiotic relationship, and that's what it is. Back to what you were saying, I was scared of sharks. Believe it or not, you see me now and you're like, yeah, this girl's got no fear. I tell you, I was petrified of them. And I had started my whole mermaid thing for quite a few years, and I'd never seen a shark. And of course, it's the first thing that everybody asks. Aren't you scared of sharks? You're going to get it. And I'm like, well, yeah, actually, I'm kind of scared of them, but I haven't seen one yet. And, here's hoping that just kind of like, don't. And then a friend of mine called me up and he said, I'm going to be in Mexico in Guadalupe, and I'm going to go swim and make this film about great white sharks. Do you want to come? I'm like, I don't think no. I'm avoiding sharks. And he's like, you know what? They're being killed in massive numbers. They're actually really amazing. And we truly believe, we have scientists with us, we believe that they're intelligent enough to tell the difference between you and their dinner. And I was like, really? Even in a mermaid tail? And he's like, they're really intelligent. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. I said, I will fly across the world and I will get out there, but I promise I will not get in a tail or get in with them unless I decide to there. I'm not going to commit. The second I got there, I saw in this crystal blue, beautiful water off the boat, and I'm in the middle of nowhere in a Stewfield fishing trawler, and miles and miles from any kind of hospital or anything. I looked and I saw this 17-foot great white shark just cruising around the boat, and I was like, I want to get in there with it. This is amazing. And it's really, a lot of our fear is about the unknown, and seeing it up close, impersonal, real. They have a much different energy than what we've been viewed to believe from the media. We see sharks and it's Jaws. They're like, we're coming to eat you, dun, dun, dun. And you see them in the wild and they're kind of just cruising around. They're big fish and they're majestic and beautiful and really a joy to watch. So it was scary, and I'll tell you one experience. Just before I got my tail on, there was a big commotion at the back of the boat. There was a cage out there, and we ran out, and there was this big, like, shh, and a huge great white shark had got itself stuck inside the cage.
Oh.
It had ripped off a whole huge metal bar and freed itself, thank goodness. It had just, like, swum in the wrong way. And then they all looked at me and they're like, are you ready to get in the water now? And I was like, oh my God, I am definitely a little bit crazy because I'm going to do it. And there was this moment, I first got in with scuba gear, and I had a little like a club just in case anything came too close to me, and I had the air and the goggles, and I felt really disconnected, and I felt a lot of fear, and I felt like, how am I going to pull this off without all of the air and the safety and everything? And then the next time I got in just with the tail. And there was a moment of swimming off from the edge of that cage into the deep, endless blue with a huge great white shark right there swimming past me. And it was such a moment of surrender and acceptance and just knowing that I'm part of the ecosystem. I'm not in battle with it, that it was just beautiful. And at that moment I was like, this is what I'm meant to be doing. I'm meant to be like fuzzy-eyed, can't really see that much, with no air, in a freaking tail, swimming with my animals. And that was more comfortable to me than having all the scuba gear. There was one moment where a shark, instead of kind of cruising around as they do, decided it was a little bit more curious about me and started coming towards me. And I remember having the whole conversation in my head that I'd had with the guys in the boat, saying, what do? I'm half naked in a fish suit with like dinner, like I've got nothing. And they said, well, you've got to like show it who's boss. You can't turn tail and swim away because that will activate its predatory instincts. I heard the whole conversation in slow motion in my head, and then I thought, right, I've got to show it who's boss. I've got to be tough. And so I put my hands up underwater and started swimming directly at the shark, screaming. I won't say what I was like swearing my head off. And I was like, come on, I'll get you. And I'm screaming underwater, which of course just sounds like. But it was enough to show the shark that I wasn't its normal dinner, and it just took off. And so it's knowing the personality of the animal that you're working with, really getting into the psychology, like how do they react? What are they looking for? What are the telltale signs? Knowing which shark to swim with, because I had an expert saying, oh, don't go out of the cage right now. That one there, it's a male, it's much more twitchy, it's younger, it's smaller, which actually means it's had less time and is still trying to prove itself. The bigger ones are slower, they're safer, they're usually female. So it's like all this knowledge that I got to understand about the characters of the animals, which makes it a lot more safe rather than just kind of going, hey. So I've been really lucky to work with experts around the world. And it was the same with the tiger sharks, which I'll tell you more about too.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing, because I mean, everything, like, I often think, like, wouldn't it be great if when you were a child, people could just tell you, oh, this is what you're meant to do, so that you could go and get the skills to actually do it. But no, we don't do that like that on planet Earth. We do it differently,
The schooling system would be so wonderful if we just spent days going, hey, let's go swim with the sea lions today. We're going to teach you all about them, instead of sitting there and reading some ancient history about things that are not relevant to us right now.
Yeah, but you're something else. I mean, Hannah, we quite, like, I'm quite spiritual, and I often, like, when I come across people like you, or when I see people on the internet, on the big wide web, doing like amazing, I often ask, like, where do they come from? Like, who are they? And don't tell me like your mom. It's like, from which planet? Like, where?
Pleiades, no. But my mother actually met a meditation teacher when I was very young, when I was 1, and we traveled to India and spent a lot of time in a meditation ashram growing up there as a child. So I was given a lot of really amazing, beautiful spiritual teachings, and that meditation and the yoga practice were the things that really gave me the breath hold ability, the natural breath hold, where I was able to rock up to a casting and be like, ah! And in those moments where I'm swimming with great white sharks or tiger sharks or something, that I don't lose my crap. I can focus in and feel connected to source and work with that energy. And it's been invaluable. So I was really, really lucky as a kid to have some training beyond the normal.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, yay to mom.
Yay, mom.
Incredible. Yeah. Oh, well, I'm going to thank her. Thank you.
Yes, love you.
Yeah. So Hannah, so you've gotten involved with a number of activist projects, and you've literally put yourself on the front line with some of these. Please, briefly just explain to us, or just like, just introduce, or like just share some of that with us, please.
I was always into using my art form as a way to be an activist. So I remember before I became a mermaid, I was living in Byron Bay in Australia, a gorgeous rainforest place. And I would dress up like a fairy and go into the forest and join the protests against cutting down the old growth forest and stand in front of a bulldozer in a fairy outfit. So you can see I've translated that perception of like using beauty, using for a cause. And as I became a mermaid, I realized the first thing that I ever did, there was a bridge that was going to be torn down, which was right over a waterway that was really detrimental to the animals and the wildlife there. So they had a community meeting on the bridge to say no. And I brought my mermaid tail out there, put it on, and was holding a sign saying, you know, protect the wetlands. And the police came to move all of the protesters away, and they look at me and they're like, you got to move. And I'm like, I can't walk. If you'd like to lift me up and take me away, you are quite welcome to. And of course they're like, oh God, you're maybe a nightmare. What do we do? And there's a picture on the front page of the newspaper that was like, you know, mermaids protecting wetlands. And I was like, oh, this is brilliant. You know, I can use this. And, I got involved with Surfers for Cetaceans, which was my ex-partner, David Rostovich, an amazing man, an incredible soul surfer. And with a group of artists and surfers, we went to Taiji in Japan, and we actually paddled out into the Bay of Blood where they kill dolphins every single year. And it was one of the most heart-wrenching, intense experiences of my life, to literally be swimming through dolphin blood, to be hearing dolphins wailing and screaming and seeing their dead family on the beach. It was like a nightmare from hell. And the fishermen came over and they were very angry that we were interrupting their commerce. And, you know, we had our passports and Ziploc bags and our wetsuits, fully expecting that we were going to get arrested because they have zero tolerance for Westerners getting involved in that over there. And they came, they started backing their boat propellers into us. They started smacking us with big staffs, and we just held a peaceful circle. The whole purpose was to do a Gandhi-esque experience where we were just like, we're here to bear witness and to just reflect back what you're doing here and to get footage to show the world, because at that point, people knew. And that scene was one of the culminating scenes in the Academy Award-winning film The Cove by Ocean Preservation Society, and it blew the lid on what's happening over there. And unfortunately, we're still fighting that fight. A lot of the world knows about it, and we were instrumental in getting mercury-laden dolphin meat taken off the supermarket shelves in Taiji, and ending the government-funded school lunch program of serving dolphin to children. So we have made some advances, and we've helped to bring a lot more awareness to that. The challenge afterwards, you know, one, it was heartbreaking for me. I cried for hours afterwards. And it was inspiring because I was surrounded by these people that had traveled across the world and put their lives on the line for something other than themselves. So to see the self-sacrifice of humans for animals that cannot speak for themselves was truly inspiring. But to be faced with that much brutality from other humans was really a hard one to come back from. I was like, I don't think I'm from this planet at all.
Yeah.
And so I really started thinking, well, how can I, it was really interesting because a lot of people who are really open-minded and animal activists even tell me, oh, I haven't watched that film because it's just too hard to see, but I support what you do. And I realized that people don't really want to look at that stuff, and I don't really want to look at that stuff. But how do we get the message across? How do we inspire action? Because usually we have to shock them into action. But that doesn't make people feel good or empowered either. So I was like, okay, I want to inspire them into action. I want to use beauty to motivate. So that's when I began working with Sean Heinrichs, who's one of the most incredible, insane underwater cinematographers and dedicated ocean activists in the world. I cannot speak highly enough of him. And I call him the ocean whisperer because literally he just knows. He's like, there's going to be pilot whales over there. So we jump in the water and pilot whales come by. It's just, he's like, click, 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 click. So yeah, he is truly amazing. And we've done a number of really incredible art activist films together over the last 3 years. The first one we did was the world's first whale shark fashion shoot in the Philippines. And it was highlighting one island community's ability to turn killing them into whale watching and bringing a small tourist and non-invasive project to show people how incredible these animals are and getting paid for it as opposed to killing them. So it was really, really cool. And we had these gorgeous designer gowns, and we were like swimming with these whale sharks who are one of the most peaceful, benign beings on the planet. They're kind of like huge vacuum cleaners. They just suck tiny little krill from the ocean.
Beautiful.
They're totally harmless, but they're the biggest shark on the planet. They're like 25 foot long, huge bust size, but just so gorgeous. So the photos that we got from that just went viral. They went all over the world, and we were kind of surprised. We were like, wow, people are really responding to this. How can we utilize this to help other animals? And we knew that manta rays were coming up for whether they should be protected by the Convention for International Trade on Endangered Species, which is a meeting held by the United Nations once every 3 years. So we had 1 month to create something and put it out and get the word out to help change consciousness around it, because most people think of manta rays and they think stingray, dangerous, killed Steve Irwin. We don't want those. They're bad.
Yeah.
Manta rays do not have a stinger. They're one of the most beautiful, benign, harmless, intelligent creatures on the planet. I call them the ballerinas of the sea because they put my dancing underwater to shame. I'm just like, if I could only be that graceful. We flew to Hawaii, and at midnight, in quite cold water, I was at 25 foot down, bolted to the bottom of the ocean, holding my breath for minutes at a time, dancing with these manta rays who would come when we set up lights. There would be krill that would come around the lights, and the manta rays would just dance.
Oh my goodness.
These beautiful ballerina spins, literally inches from the fingertips. No fear of humans whatsoever. And we captured the most incredible footage. People are just like, oh, how'd you CGI that? That was really cool. And then I was freezing my ass off at the bottom of the ocean with vibrating.
Yeah.
So we put together a thing called Manta's Last Dance. And it was a short art film that showed the connection. And at the end of it, it gave a call to action to say, Convention for International Trade on Endangered Species is meeting right now. Make your voice known. And most people didn't even know what manta rays were. And we put that out for 2 weeks. It went completely viral. And then it was shown to the delegates at the convention. And 80% of them stood up in favor of protecting manta rays. And even one of the Asian countries that had been responsible for killing a lot of manta rays got up and gave us impassioned speech about why we should save manta rays. And they were put onto the protected list. Yeah. So we're still trying to get them to implement it on a practical level, like the laws exist now, but the practices are still going on. So it's an ongoing fight, but at least now there's structure to help us with that.
Yeah.
And so another project we did was called Tigress, and we went to the Bahamas and swam with tiger sharks. And I was painted entirely blue and with black markings so that I looked like the tiger sharks. In the end, I actually looked like one of the avatar creatures. And it was truly an amazing experience, because out of all the animals in the ocean, all the friendly dolphins and the beautiful humpback whales and all these things, tiger sharks are the only ones that came over and liked to be touched by humans, at least in this particular place where they're used to us. They liked being tickled on the nose. And they came across kind of like these big old dachshund dogs. That's the image I get. They just can like snoop along the bottom of the ocean, sniffing around, and then they come over and you give them a little tickle on the nose, and they're like, oh, that's nice, and they take off. And I didn't feel at all once in danger. I felt there was a couple moments where they're like, oh, you're kind of a curious creature. What are you? And you kind of have to assert yourself in those moments and like push them away or be very vigilant and like navigate that situation, because curiosity, they only have teeth. You know, curiosity can kill.
Yeah, good.
But they knew that we weren't dinner. They knew that they weren't trying to eat us. So it was an actual connection, an actual like, oh, you want to hang out with me? You're interested? I want to hang out with you. Look each other in the eye and not feel that overwhelming fear. It's such a beautiful thing. So we created this film with the most ridiculous footage of like touching these animals in the open ocean, and it's called Tigress, and it was released on news channels and online, and was seen by 50 million people in the first day.
Beautiful.
And went across the world. It was the first time anyone had basically danced with tiger sharks. So it helped us a great deal with the with trying to get the Australian shark cull ended, because at the moment they're still kind of thinking about bringing it back, so I might need to do another adventure soon. But they, a couple people have been attacked by sharks on the Australian coastline, and so they just implemented a shark culling program where they're just all over the place there. And even a lot of sharks that have never been known to kill humans or attack humans. So it's kind of a world of desolation of the species.
Yeah, so, I think humans just kill to kill.
Yeah, because
that's the truth. Yeah, but not even that. It's like a power thing. Like, I think human beings just kill to kill. We kill each other. We kill other animals. We have no problem killing what needs to be killed or what doesn't need to be killed. You know, and I find that so sad, because why?
Why? I know there's so much can be gained by working with.
And one question I had to ask this, like, while we were talking, is why planet? Why human beings? Why does it have to get worse before it gets better? Why do we have to lose these incredible species? Why?
We're intelligent enough to figure it out now. Like, we know what our actions are doing. Why can we not change them now?
Yeah.
I mean, I can everyone to, you know, personally, I'm a vegetarian since birth. You know, I try to avoid using leather products. I'm not blameless, but I have definitely minimized my impact on this planet as much as I can. And, you know, with the options that we now know, that, you know, vegetarian is a lot healthier, and if you have major issues with that, at least source your meat from cruelty-free, organic, you know, free range, all of those things. Have the options now.
Yeah. Well, I don't eat meat. I don't. I'm also like, I don't eat meat, and I've. I mean, now and then I would have fish, but even that for me is like, the taste is also like, no, it doesn't work for me anymore. You know.
And with the fish, I mean, for our own personal well-being, there's so much heavy lead, mercury content in fish these days, and I mean, what about Fukushima? No one's talking about it anymore, but that's got a flow-on impact to what you're eating out of the ocean. My dad, actually, I was telling him, you know, you really should be careful of your fish intake and the heavy metals, and you don't eat the big fish. And he's like, I don't eat that much. And he came back to me a couple weeks later. He's like, you know, I went and had my levels tested just to prove you wrong. And he was like, well, actually, I've had to totally adjust my diet because they found quite heavy mercury levels in my blood and detrimental. And thank you for letting me know. And I'm like, wow, and that's someone that thinks they don't even eat a lot of fish.
Yeah. No, but, you know, I don't think that there's anything pure left, really, with all the pollution and all the rubbish and all that. Just like, you know, it just needs to stop. Everything just needs to stop. We need to seriously look at what we're doing. And that's what Share Africa, you know, like, I'd love to create awareness around the trees, around food, around pollution, around our animals, around just people, you know, and obviously with our focus being on women, and I'm so happy that I created Share Africa, because this gives me the opportunity to connect with amazing women and connect with you right now. Hannah, you're busy with a film at the moment.
Yeah, I'm working on a film called Tears of a Mermaid, and the concept is all of the behind the scenes adventures of the travels and the interactions with the animals and the activist work that I've done over the last, there's footage that goes back nearly 10 years now, but mostly the last 3 years working with Sean Heinrichs, doing these mind-blowing things around the world in these amazing places, the far reaches of Tonga and the caves of Tonga, and to the Philippines, to Bali, to all this incredible experience. And people always say, well, how did you do it, and why did you do it? And this film answers those questions.
Amazing.
So, still in production. It's probably maybe the end of next year, but look out for Tears of a Mermaid. You can look it up.com. And also listed on hannahmermaid.com. You can see a bunch of my videos up there, and on YouTube and Facebook and all of the things. So yeah, but there's some really good projects happening. A large expansion for me set.
Amazing, amazing. So Hannah, She Africa, I always allow a space for the women that I'm interviewing to invite people, anybody, everybody to get involved with their projects, and also just to share what really is like the number one message. Like if this was your last day, what would you share with people? What's that last bit of Hannah inspiration, Hannah the Mermaid inspiration that you would give? Can you do that for us, and then just invite people, be the invitation?
So I want you to just close your eyes for a second and take a really deep breath that goes down into the depths of your belly, and release it. And as you release it, feel all the tension going out of your body. We carry so much. We carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. And I want to just give you that tiny little taste of what it's like to be underwater, to be completely supported, to be completely symbiotically linked to everything on this planet. We are actually physically one being, planet Earth. Mm-hmm. And if we can see ourselves from that perspective, everything that we do comes from a different place. It comes from caring. It comes from taking the time to share your inner essence with each person you come into contact with. It's just those tiny things like giving a smile to the person you walk past on the street instead of being wrapped up in your own crap in your head. It's taking that little extra moment to clean out your recycling containers and put them in the right box. It's picking up those pieces of rubbish on the street because they're going to go down into the sewers, out into the ocean. You can stop that from happening. And it's connecting, slowing down enough, and that weightless feeling of supportedness to really feel into what lights you up when you wake up. What is that tiny little bit of excitement? People say they find it really hard to find that passion. What do I do with this life? It takes some quiet time to just let it in. Give it the space. It might come in a way that you're not expecting. It might be like, oh, I'm just really excited to water my plants today. And you're like, well, that's not my career. It could be. You can make a career out of that, like watering your plants. And, you just put attention into that thing that lights you up. The more attention, it grows. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well,
easy.
Yeah, wow. Well, Hannah, I'm in Cape Town, South Africa. So if you ever find yourself out this way and looking for a group of amazing people, I'm sure that I can give them a very good reason, which is you, to link up with you and join with you and just be with you, be active with you. You're such an inspiration, for everybody who wants to get out on the street. I mean, for me personally, I want to go and stand in the middle of town, city, at the traffic lights and support whatever, for that day. So that's like the dream that I have, in a silly little costume. But I call it the superhero costume. And for me, your mermaid tail, that's a superhero global warrior costume,
Strength. hold my breath longer. I can swim faster. I got my costume on. So yeah, let's all be superheroes.
Yes, yes, definitely. Oh my goodness, Hannah, like, yeah, you know, like I've got so many questions for you, but I do know that we're going to have a follow-up interview. Definitely. I'll be watching you very closely. And, you know, I'm the invitation for you. If there's anything on this side that you can do in the blue ocean, you know, like I'm the invitation for you. You've got a place here to stay with us. I can connect you with amazing people as well. And
I think we're going to have to get you in a jail, girl.
Yeah, and what I want to say is that if, for those who can help Hannah, do that, you know, whether it's through funding, whether it's through making her a tail, whether it's through connecting her with a director or like an organization or whatever it is. If you can do something for this chick, do it. She is amazing, and she's definitely inspired me to take my socks off and really be brave and courageous and just speak up, you know, for the animals, because I've got such a love for all earthlings on this planet, and it is to get into the eye's view. You have to be in front of people to create change. Change creates change. And kudos to you people who say that you don't want to see it. You're going to live it because you're not acting on it. Your children aren't going to be able to live at a planet that you live on currently because you don't want to act on saving the lions or saving the palm, you know, like saving the rainforest or whatever. You know, I got to be very careful because I can't really say like organization names, you know, and like they're going to sue me. But like really be conscious about what you eat because that can save the planet. Be conscious about what you buy because that can save the planet. Be conscious about where you are, who you are with, because that can save the planet and yourself and future generations. And yeah,
beautiful. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So Hannah, so I you know, just I've tried to connect with you on Facebook, but I couldn't because you have way too many friends. But connect with me on my Facebook. Keep close to me because I am working on a few projects and I'm connecting at the moment. I'm just connecting with women that are amazing, that are active, that are putting themselves out there for change. And when I have everyone together, I'm gonna rock this world with something amazing.
See it. Just bubbling out of you.
Yeah. So you're amazing. I love you. Everybody else loves you. And thank you so much for being on She Africa. And I'm going to talk to you again. And you're amazing. Thank you for looking after those who can't for themselves at the moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Blessings.
Guys. Yeah, blessings. And have a beautiful day. But us, it's night now, so you daytime. So I'm gonna. Yeah, so anybody who wants to contact her, we're going to share. I'm going to add some more links. But you can go to Hannah's website. It is, Hannah, do you want to just mention all the links that they can contact you on? Because there's way too many.
Yeah. It's pretty easy to find me. HannahMermaid.com is my website. Hannah Fraser, or just look up any Hannah Mermaid on YouTube. Instagram is Hannah Mermaid. Facebook is Hannah Mermaid. You know, there's a lot of links and you can find me easily, and please join with me and become part of our wonderful mermaid community. Another few things that I will recommend is Sean Heinrichs' website is bluespheremedia.com, and there's a lot of my work on there, and you can see what he's up to. He's a force of nature. Oceana.com is a really great, or is it Oceana? Just look up Oceana. They're a really great, just sort of like broad spectrum ocean support system with a lot of great people involved. SaveJapanDolphins.org with Rick O'Barry, who's actually just been arrested today for dolphins in Taiji, who's an amazing dolphin activist. So we give him
some my goodness.
Now. So yeah, there's so many. Just be involved. Get into it.
Yeah. Well, to the men and the women in your life, Hannah, that are supporting you because you're completely 100% aligned with your purpose, I want to thank them personally from me and She Africa and the people in my life, because, you know, without them, you can't really be you.
Exactly. We all need a team. It's all
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I look forward to talking to you again. So I might just chat to you on a separate basis some other time again. But Hannah, for now, I'm going to say goodbye. And I'm going to invite the world to join you. And I hope that you get onto every show, that you have an amazing life going forward, that you get to meet incredible people with a lot of money that can help you change what needs to be changed, and rewrite the laws. And I hope to be holding your hand on the frontier, going into the battle with you. And it's a special time of, and it's a special time on planet Earth right now. And I hope that this particular interview reaches the people that it needs to reach for you. Yeah. Anyhow, so I'm going to say goodbye because I know I'm going to be talking to you again soon. But you have a fantastic day. Send love to your mom and love to your friends and your colleagues. And Hannah, go change the world.
Yay!
Good. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye.